We are going to look at the second session under this topic, the pillars to sustain economic value. And in the first session, we covered some a very important pillar. And in today's session, I'm going to cover two pillars. I want to cover them together because these two pillars support one another. And I am calling it um, internal conversion and external conversion. I will explain. Internal conversion and external conversion. This is something that when you understand, you will begin to do things in a way that can directly affect your influence, directly affect your finances, your progress, your growth, or whatever that you're building. All right. So I'm going to talk about internal conversion and external conversion. I will explain what I mean, but these are internal conversion is the second pillar in in developing sustainable economic value, and external conversion is the third pillar that I have, documented. And internal conversion is just a principle that I began to write about, which is that if you want to experience economic transformation, you have to go through internal transformation. And this is not just any kind of internal transformation. All right. That's why I'm using the word internal conversion. You see, you can meet people of the same age group and they can have two different internal running systems. And when I talk about internal running systems, I'm talking about things like their thought patterns, their character, their behavior, the way they analyze information. These things are very important in your economic, in your economic success. All right. Because see, every one of us right now on this call, every single one of us right now on this call, we desire to make more money. We desire to earn more because there are situations, there are life situations, there are life problems, career issues, family issues that we want to solve, right? But guess what? You do not earn at the level of your desires. See, this is a very important hard truth to understand. You do not make more money at the level of your desires. No. And that's why I'm talking about you must have that internal conversion of you. You make more money or you earn at the level of four main things. These are things that I have sat down, I have done research, I have analyzed a few things in my life, and I've come to the conclusion that you do not earn at the level of your desires. Everybody here, you desire to make more money. And it is good to have desires, but you don't earn more money. You don't become economically sustainable at the level of your desires. No, you earn at the level of five main things. You learn at the level of your information, your understanding, your skills, your judgment. Judgment there means decision making and discernment. And you earn at the level of your problem solving ability. These are very important foundations to have. There are many people right now that they desire to earn more. But if you sit with them and begin to exchange conversation with them, you're going to notice that the kind of information she has, you cannot earn what you desire. The way you understand life and wealth, you can never make money with this kind of understanding. The type of skills that you have, I'm sorry for you. The way you judge things, the way you discern things, the way you make decisions, you cannot make that money. The way you solve problems for yourself, for the society, for the industry, I doubt if you can make that money. Are you seeing the picture? You see that? So there are many people that they have this strong desire to earn, but you see, you can have desires for 30 years and have nothing to show for because you don't earn at the level of your desires. You begin to earn or make more money at the level of certain key practical foundational realities. It's the level of your information, the level of how you understand patterns and systems and people and industries and what have you, at the level of the kind of skills that you have as a professional or as an expert. You see, because if you're somebody who studies labor economics, there's something known as labor economics, right? If you're somebody who studies labor economics, there is a popular understanding in labor economics, which is that higher earnings, or let me say higher salaries, for example, correlate strongly with specialized skills and productivity. In other words, um, uh, the theory in labor economics is that if you want to earn more salary, and of course this is very this works in countries that have sense, right? Developed countries where they respect things like that, right? But if in a country where it's a good country with good policies and good leaders, you're going to see that higher earnings correlate strongly with specialized skills and productivity. That's why a country like the United States, you can see somebody at a very high position and they don't have a first degree. But they're at a very high position. They did not go to they did not go to the university at all. Why? Because they they value their productivity. Same as in the same country, you can see somebody at a very high level and they have a PhD, right? Because it's a system that is structured to, they do their best, although some people still don't have it, but they do their best to make sure that you see, if you have the right productivity and you can bring in the right specialized skills, you can earn more in what you're doing. So, in your journey to uh, being sustainably, being economically sustainable, you must pay the price for that internal conversion. Desires are good, but desires don't pay bills. You don't earn more money at the level of having strong desires, big goals, and so on. Those things have their place. But you earn at the level of you having the right internal conversion. And when you are somebody going through internal conversion, you begin to understand that the type of information that you expose yourself to and you possess is different. The way you understand maybe your industry, your economy, your nation is different. The kind of skills that you have or you're paying the price to have is different. The way you judge situations and discern situations and make decisions is different. The way you approach problems and you solve them is different. And this automatically begins to affect how you earn. Is that internal conversion we're talking about? You see that? That's why if you're going to consistently grow as a person, you must have what I call value creation pipeline. What does that mean? You must constantly have a process around your life where you are increasing how you create value. And what makes a value creation pipeline? The more you gain access to relevant information, it could be through mentorship programs like this, attending conferences, master classes, reading a particular book. You gain more information. You begin to convert that information into proper understanding. You begin to convert that understanding into skills. You begin to convert those skills into capabilities that can produce outcomes. That is a value creation pipeline because you cannot be economically sustainable if you don't have a value creation pipeline. You see, for example, you're somebody that, let's say, in the last 12 months, you have not read relevant books in your industry, you have not taken any relevant course, you have not read any relevant articles, things like that. You don't have a value creation pipeline because you are not doing things that can give you that pipeline. You see, because this is what gives you what you can call operational competence. You see, when they're recruiting you in certain organizations, during your interview, they are tracing your operational competence. Many people have information, but few people can convert that information into operational competence. But you start with information. But you need to go further. How can I begin to convert this information into operational competence? And you see, if you're going to build wealth, you need to go beyond operational competence. For example, people go to school, they gather information, and in the process of practice, internships, volunteering, mentorship, coaching, apprenticeship, they're able to convert that information into operational competence. And that's what they pay you salary. When you have only, listen to me, when you have only operational competence, the only way you can earn money is through a salary. But if you want to increase your economic value, you need to convert your competence into scalable capability. Something you can scale. For example, let's say in the work I do, right? I can speak in one event at a time and they pay me as a speaker. That's good. They're paying me according to my operational competence. But you see, if I sit down with my cameras, with my microphone, and I record short courses and create an academy that many people can take the same program across different countries. That is me converting my competence into scalable capability. You see the difference? You see, so the journey of this internal conversion is get the information, read the books, go to conferences, pay for courses. That is good. But make sure it doesn't end in information. Convert that information into a competence. But don't end at competence. Go a step further. How can I convert this competence into a scalable capability? And I think I should really give a proper. Let me go further on this because many people are competent, but they don't have that scalable capability. It's very important to understand. All of you here, you have competence or something. You now need to begin to think, how can I convert this competence into scalable capability? It's one thing I'm always thinking about. I'm always thinking about it. How can I convert this into beyond just beyond just what somebody can pay me once? You see, so what is the main difference between competence and scalable capability? If you get this, it will change your life, especially those of you that are in business, even those of you working. When you're working and they pay you salary, they're paying you for your operational competence. If you want to make extra money, you need to learn how to convert your competence into a scalable capability. So, what is competence in simple terms? Competence is your ability to perform well. That's competence. Based on the knowledge you have, the information you have, the understanding you have, you can perform well. That's competence. Competence is you having the ability to execute a task effectively and in a reliable way. That's competence. But you see, that competence will earn you a salary. And that is good. But we are talking about how to have sustainable economic value. If you want to increase your economic value, you begin to go from, okay, how can I convert this competence into a scalable capability? Now, what is scalable capability? It is the ability to multiply results beyond yourself. As simple as that. It is the ability to multiply results beyond yourself. Because with operational competence, only you can do the job and get paid directly. But if you're going to increase your economic value, you need to begin to think, how can I practice the concept of scalable capability by multiplying these results beyond myself? You see that? For example, another basic example, me teaching you guys live on this Zoom call right now, it's a good example of, operational competence. But you see, it is also being recorded by the team. And when we are done, it is transferred into the Mentorship Academy platform where it has other courses. And guess what? There are people that when they come to me for some kind of coaching and consulting, I charge them a fee and I give them access to the academy without me being there, without me teaching them life. And they take the courses and they are blessed and they learn something and life goes on. That is me practicing scalable capability. When you're doing anything, if you are good at something, if you have competence at something, that's a good start. But if you want to increase your economic value, begin to think, how can I multiply this particular result beyond myself? Because one thing about scalable capability is that you have the wisdom, you have the capacity to produce value repeatedly, consistently, and even at an increasing value. That's scalable capability. And if you're going to be good at scalable capability to scale what you're doing beyond your one man competence, you must understand systems. You must understand infrastructure. You must understand how to delegate. You must understand which technology you can use. You must understand distribution. You must understand these things. Like all of you right now, that you are just doing something as per your competence. If you want to practice scalable capability, you need to begin to think, oh, you know what? Which platform can I use to distribute this particular value? You see? Because listen to me carefully. If if you are not learning, I'm thinking of a better way to put this in a way that anybody can understand. If you are not learning how to multiply your value across time, across people, across geography or location, and across systems, you're going to struggle to make money. Let me say it again. If you don't begin to intentionally study, how can I multiply this value I am creating across time, across people, across geography or location, and across different systems? You see that? For example, you see, these are the kind of things that makes me to think and to create some things. Many of my teachings, I always convert them into podcasts. And I've learned how there's a platform that I have created in my podcast on that when I upload on that one platform, It is distributed across more than 10 different podcast platforms. And my podcast right now is being watched across almost, I think it's about 50 something countries. That's scalable capability because I understand that this value I have, if I want to have more opportunities from different countries, it is my job to multiply my value across time, across people, across locations, and across systems. For some of you, it can be as basic as, you know what, I need to start being serious with 3 social media platforms, maybe Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok or LinkedIn, anyone, because you understand that with this platform, with this infrastructure, I can begin to multiply my value across people. Because you cannot be able to develop economic value and be more sustainable if you are not multiplying your value. So many people end at operational competence. You see that? So you need to work on that internal conversion. That internal conversion is very important. Pillar number 3, then we are done, is external conversion. I said internal conversion and external conversion work hand in hand. All right. External conversion. Now, external conversion is a direct impact of internal conversion. If you have the wrong internal conversion, you're going to have the wrong external conversion. Right? Now, what is external conversion? It's a simple philosophy that I live by and I talk about. It is you intentionally having a system around you that you can translate capability into value. That's external conversion. You have something internally. You see, capability is an internal reality. Now you need to learn how to convert that capability into value because people can only understand value. For example, I know how to create curriculum. That's an internal capability. I know how to see a problem, research for solutions, knowledge, insight, wisdom. I know how to arrange in a way that if I present, somebody can understand. But you see, that is something internal. You cannot see, you cannot touch it. But for it to become something external, I need to sit and convert it into value, which is I cannot design a conference. I can now design a training program. Like, for example, I said that this month in our mentorship call, we'll be talking about pillars to sustain economic value. This is what you can see, you can touch. I gave you the name. I designed something around it. You can see it, you can touch it, you can understand it. What you're seeing on your screen is a product of my internal reality. This is very important. If you don't understand how to practice external conversion, you will have so much inside of you that can make you millions and make you a voice, but yet you are broke. Why? Because you are not paying the price to begin to convert that capability into value that somebody can see it, hear it, understand, and respond to it. This is very important. This is where many people are lacking. Because many people, all they have just so much capability. But guess what? Human beings cannot understand your capability. It is inside of you. So you need to practice external conversion to convert that capability into value. That's why I always say that, look, your capability alone is not wealth. Your capability alone is not money. I wish people could understand this. You must be able to translate that capability into something that solves a problem, into something that is recognized by a market. When I shared the title of, I don't know if I shared the title of this in the WhatsApp group, you could understand, you could recognize that, oh, this is what we're going to be, this is what we are going to be doing in this mentorship call. You see that? If your capability is not translated into something that can solve a real problem for somebody, into something that can be recognized by the market so they can pay for it, into something that has measurable utility, you're going to struggle to make money. There are many of you, especially I know a few of you ladies here that you are good with relationship counseling. You're good with that. You're good with, love things, romantic things. But guess what? If you don't begin to practice external conversion to translate that capability into value, maybe by organizing, you know, uh, um, a weekend dating event for couples, whatever, you need to translate it into something that can be recognized, into something that can be measurable, what I call measurable utility. They can see that, oh, if I pay for this product, it can help me to achieve this. And this is where many people fail. They possess the knowledge, as somebody said in the chat box, knowledge obesity, right? They possess the knowledge, but they cannot package that knowledge and or position that knowledge in a way others can get it and use it. That's external conversion. You see that? So you do internal conversion, which is about working on your mind, your understanding of things, and all of that. But you don't end there. If you end there, you're going to be broke. You need to now begin to convert what you have internally into value that is recognizable and is measurable. See, listen to me. That's why you can see many master's degree holders, PhD holders, especially across Africa, that they have nothing to show for, right? You know why? Because unapplied knowledge has zero market value. And I'm speaking to somebody here. There are many of you that you have incredible knowledge in different areas. But guess what? If that knowledge stays inside of your head, it is unapplied knowledge. And like I said, unapplied knowledge has zero market value. Nobody can pay you for it. Why? Because the marketplace rewards translation. It's good to be intelligent, but what I'm saying is, do you know how to translate that intelligence into something the markets can understand? We are here, you guys are here on this mentorship Zoom call because an intelligence, something was translated into something you can understand. That's why you're here. If I had this teaching idea in my mind, and I don't know how to craft it into a good topic, into a good event, into a good name, to structure it, you will not be here. Intelligence that is not translated into what the market can understand is useless intelligence to you and even the market. Many of you listening to me, you need to repent from unused, unpackaged intelligence. Begin to practice external conversion. And guess what? Start where you are. Stop waiting to have all the resources. Stop waiting. Start where you are with what you have. You'll be amazed at how fast you're going to grow. Work on your external conversion. Constantly ask yourself, how can I translate this intelligence, this idea, this perspective into what the market can understand? When I talk to people, I have come to the conclusion that most people think that value flows from the perspective where you learn something valuable, then you get rewarded. And this is why many people went to school. That was the lie that they sold to us. Go to school, then you get a job and you get paid. It does happen, but you see, that's for the masses. If you want to make meaning in life and make impact, make influence, and build wealth, that formula is not for you. The formula where many people think that if I learn something valuable, I will get rewarded. That formula is not for you. There's a superior way to do things. If you understand how the market works, what happens is when you look at people that are economically powerful, people that are growing financially, people that are going from level to level, they don't live with this equation. It is the masses and ignorant people that live with this equation where they think that if I go to school, I learn something, I will get rewarded. It can happen to a very few people. But if you're going to play a different game, you begin to understand that, hey, you know what? If I'm going to win this game, it is knowledge, it is packaging that knowledge, and this packaging can happen in different ways. It can become an institution, it can become a consulting firm, it can become a school, it can manifest in different ways. But you understand the formula for the modern market. When my mother was growing up, it was possible to go to school and get rewarded. But in our generation, it's a different game. You don't just go to school and get rewarded. You're going to be stranded. You need to play a different modern reality game. So you get the knowledge, you begin to think of ways to package the knowledge, you begin to think of positioning yourself in the marketplace, you begin to think of distribution, you begin to think of making sure that they can trust you, you begin to think of how to understand demand and supply, you begin to think of compensation. These are the various moving parts you need to begin to think about if you're going to make money in this generation. You see that? Because you need to learn how to bridge. Many people, there is a gap in their lives. There is private competence and there is public economic value. There's a gap here. Many people here, you're like that. You have private competence and then there's public economic value on the other side. You have not bridged the two. You have competence and the public need what you have. But there's a gap in the middle. Do you know what bridged that gap? External conversion, packaging, and positioning is what bridges that gap. Basic example. You have private competence. You understand that the public needs what you have. Bridging that gap for you can be as simple as designing a good marketing flyer with good copywriting or sales copy, and you begin to share in WhatsApp groups, Facebook, and so on. That is you bridging, you're using that positioning to bridge that gap between your private competence and the public economic value that you can solve. You see that? That's why one time I was teaching, I think it was last year in the mentorship call also, I was teaching and I said that your value must become visible. Please write this down. I hope you're taking these things down, right? Your value must become visible, understandable, credible, relevant, and accessible. 5 things. Everybody here running, trying to do a side hustle, a full-time business, you're planning to get into something, never forget these 5 things. if you are creating value, your value must become visible. Know how to be where people can find visible. Make it visible. Push it out there. Make sure it is understandable. Can they understand why they should buy what you're selling? Number three, make sure it is credible. Should not look fake. Make sure it is relevant to the people you're targeting to sell to. Number four, make sure it is accessible. Somebody should not want to buy that value and they are going to struggle to get it. For some people, they know how to be visible, but they don't have a good system that can make what they're selling accessible. And this is part of external conversion. So if you have value internally right now, it could be an idea, a skill set, a project, an initiative, that's good. When you're converting it into something that you want people to buy, make sure that these 5 elements, that value meets up these 5 elements. How will I make it visible? The way I write about this value, will it be understandable by the target audience? Is it credible? Can they trust it? Is it relevant to their pain points and their problems? If somebody decides to pay, will they easily access this particular value? It changes a lot. You see what I'm teaching you guys? This is the heart of wealth creation. Financial breakthrough is a science, it's an art. You don't just wake up one day and you're fine financially. That's a lie. And for those who have grown up in Christian settings, they have this mindset about miracles. There's a place of miracles. But let me tell you, God blesses you better. There's a difference between living in the blessing and living in miracles. If you want to be financially free as a Christian, your job is to understand how does God bless financially, not how does God make financial miracles. If you want to live blessed financially, you need to understand these concepts, these practical realities, because this is what others who are doing well, this is what they know that many people don't know. There are things I know that, and the more I study and I get access to, and I know, I'm like, majority of the world will never be rich because they're totally clueless about these things, totally ignorant about these things. And sometimes I feel bad about it. Okay, go back to these things that I shared yesterday and today. Sit with them. Again, I always challenge you guys, when you come to a mentorship call like this, you're not hearing to increase your knowledge. No, that's not mentorship. Mentorship is, there's something that this guy knows that if I know, my life can also change. So when this guy is talking to you, you're not listening to know. No, you are listening to integrate in your life. So you can produce similar results or better results. In a mentorship call like this, you don't listen to know. No, that's not mentorship. Go to a seminar, go to a conference. In mentorship, you are listening because you want to integrate. All right? So if what we taught yesterday and today, if you have just increased your knowledge and you are not integrating, then you did not come for a mentorship call. Right? It's very important.